everyone. My name is Michael. Gonna get started because I only have 20 minutes today, and I usually overtalk, and I want to leave space for Kate and Max and Kristen to talk. I know they'll have different points of view or things to add to this presentation. I said it to Kate, or I said it to Kristen. Kate, I screwed up a little bit. I should have just asked you or put the onus on you and Kristen to co-present with me, so we could have done over an hour, and then we all could have talked about the different aspects of maple tapping. I entitled this presentation Tapping Trees on Tuesdays, Practical Lessons with Maple, because I'm usually in the classroom. This is my chance to get out into the world. This is the chance for me to take my group, my class, on a practical lesson on campus. And so since 2022, or I should say, I teach in anthropology and Native American studies. And so since 2022, Kate and the Office of Sustainability has been tapping more and more sugar maples on campus and collecting the sap and then, well, but traditionally it would be boiled, but it's more of a chemical composition now. Boiled that sap into syrup. And if you've ever tapped maple trees before, you know how fun and educational and memorable it can be. And you also know how much hard work it is if you've actually been involved in the real process. It's a 40-to-1 ratio. So you have to collect 40 gallons of sap in order to create 1 gallon of maple syrup. And so that's getting all the sap and then burning it. And what's really difficult about traditionally about burning it is keeping an outdoor fire long enough, hot enough to boil that sap to make syrup. Um, my class hasn't been involved to that extent of the process of, well, I have been involved in the gathering of the sap, but my class has been going on field trips the last couple of years. First, my Anthropology 375 class, North American Indians, and second, my Native American 340 class, Native American Women, has been going on field trips led by Kate and by Max and by the folks at the Office of Sustainability. And we have taken small groups and a larger group the second time out to participate in tapping the trees, connecting the spigot, setting up the bucket, and then if they're willing to, collecting the sap. So you can see a pretty good picture here. It was, one of the official SUNY Oswego photographers came out one time in order to take these photos. Jan is foregrounded here. She was a major in journalism, a minor in Native American studies, and Larissa is in the background, a major in psychology and a minor in Native American studies. This is Ariana's arm here, but we'll see more images of Ariana in a moment. Before we talk about the actual tap, I want to talk about a few of the influences and what makes me particularly interested in bringing my students out to the sugar bush in order to participate in an event like this. So these are the inspirations, let's call them. First, Robin Wall Kimmerer. And if you haven't heard the name Robin Wall Kimmerer and Braiding Sweetgrass yet, that's going to be the optional reading initiative for students in the upcoming 25-26 calendar year. So we'll have Robin Kimmerer out to campus, and she's a very well-known name in botany and plant sciences and native studies. She's a Potawatomi woman who teaches actually very close to us at SUNY ESF and lives in Fabius, New York. Nanabozo. Nanabozo is a mythological figure in Ojibwe storytelling. Nanabozo and other Native American cultures. Nanabozo made certain that the work would never be too easy. What she's talking about here is the work of making maple syrup. His teachings remind us that one half of the truth is that the earth endows us with great gifts. The other half is that the gift is not enough. I want to repeat that. The other half is that the gift is not enough. The responsibility does not lie with the maples alone. The other half belongs to us as in humanity. We participate in its transformation from tree to sap to syrup. It is our work and our gratitude that distills the sweetness. I hope Kate and Max are you're thinking it's my work. It's my work that distills the sweetness because like y'all are the ones who do the lion's share and the majority of the work. So it's okay if you're thinking that right now. But Nanabozo and Kimmerer is speaking to this larger sense, this larger magic of the relationship between humans and the natural world and the gifts that when they interact with each other can turn sap to syrup, the sweetness. So please do remember this quote. It is our work, our gratitude that distills the sweetness. Next is a very famous scholar of education, Paulo Freire. Knowledge emerges, excuse me, only through invention and reinvention. I'm thinking about the cyclical seasons changing here. Through restless, impatient, continuing, hopeful inquiry, human beings pursue the world, and with each other. Truly, I can think of no better example than when my class visits the sugar bush of embodying this idea of human, through inquiry, human beings, my classroom, pursuing the world with the world, quite literally in the world with each other, forging community and camaraderie. Lastly, because this is a short presentation, I don't have time to play a short clip of this. It's actually claymation. It's a animation called Bedaben, or The Dawn Comes, directed and produced by Amanda Strong, and based on the short stories of Leanne Bedasamosake Simpson, who actually visited our campus during COVID and talked about this artwork. After this presentation, please, I should drop it in the chat. I'm not good enough multitasking on Zoom right now. I'll do it at the very end. I'll go and get the link and I'll drop it in the chat from YouTube. It's about 20 minutes long, and I show the entire thing whenever I take a group out to the sugar bush. It is a modern artistic interpretation of the importance of tapping trees to contemporary urban native communities in Canada. And it's sort of a story about guerrilla tapping trees in suburban neighborhoods. But it's beautiful, it's brilliant, and it sets the right mood for a group of people to go out and tap trees. Speaking of a group of people going out to tap trees, these are a few more of the images that I've collected over the years. And the first year that we went out, actually we had 5 people only attend out of like a class of 30. And this is something you learn as you plan these trips, is because I canceled class on Tuesday, and I think we went out on a Monday, Kate, in 2022. And that was fine because I was like, look, I'm gonna cancel class. This is the day we're gonna do it. If you don't know, SAP runs when the nights freeze and the days thaw. So SAP wouldn't run right now because it's freezing during the day. What is it? It's 21 degrees right now. So I know that Kate is watching the thermometer and watching the forecast to know when it will have an extended period of the evenings freezing and the days thawing. That's when the sap will run. That's when you can tap trees, and that's when you can collect the sap. So the next year we had a group of it was a real solid group. Here's Ariana, actually the first year. And here's Ariana the second year because she was in both classes. And you can see like she wore the same hoodie, but she changed her pants. Kate, there's you. I know you can see her. It's easy to see yourself. And Max, I think this is you right here next to me. Because the second year we brought a group of like, I think it was like 20 or 25 out. And actually the van got stuck in the mud, which you think is a logistical nightmare. But it isn't. Like, this is one of the things that forged community. This is one of the things that made this an event for students to remember. Not only going out to the sugar bush to tap trees, but hey, we also got stuck in the mud, remember? And Professor had to like drive back and forth a bunch of times in his Subaru. But finally, the guys from utilities came out, or facilities came out, and put real heavy duty chains on the tires, and were able to get the van out of the mud here for like the last 10 or so students who had to return to campus. So it was a real different experience with five not during class time versus 25 during class time. Both successful, and I think the experience will continue to be different as the students are different. But it is not an easy thing once you start throwing logistics and planning into the classroom experience. It doesn't make it more easy, it makes it more complicated. Nevertheless, both times successful. So I'm not trying to make light of pedagogy and pedagogical choices here, but there's a lot of academic jargon, you know? I don't know what you want to call taking your class to go tap maple trees. Life skills education, self care, practical knowledge, hands on learning, practical learning, life lessons, integrative learning, critical pedagogy, inquiry based learning. John, I'm not trying to throw shade, but like I think it counts for all of these things, right? Authentic education. I, there is a certain magic to tapping maple trees. And I'm not trying to um thank you, Rebecca, for putting that in chat. I'm not trying to discount previous theories of pedagogy. But what I'm saying is that there is endless research to support incorporating what I would call the magic of maple into the classroom experience. For me specifically in anthropology and Native American studies, Flora, this will be different for you in English, obviously. This will be different for Kate in the Office of Sustainability or Kristen at Rice Creek. For me, tapping trees naturally diversifies my teaching methods by bridging the gap between homework and for homework, my students read native authors, essentially. And in class work is essentially modified Socratic discussions, day in, day out. I have a very sort of uh, what I'm beginning to understand is a very sort of old school approach to higher education. I still print my syllabi and I still don't allow electronics in the classroom. Let's just put it that way. So day in, day out, they read native authors, they have modified Socratic discussions in class. What going out to the sugar bush allows me to do is quite literally tap into the larger spiritual and ceremonial world. I'm not a theologian, but my degrees are in religion. And what I mean by that is when I take the students out to the sugar bush, they are able to understand, really truly understand and reflect upon native cultural habits. For example, I will never take students on a field trip to the Onondaga Nation. It's invasive, and there's a long history of settler colonialism and anti-Indian racism that just predates any of us. But I can take them to our sugar bush and help them understand why Haudenosaunee people might have a maple sugar ceremony, why they might view maple trees as the leader of the trees, why they would even refer to the moon during maple season as the maple sugaring moon. And Haudenosaunee people follow a lunar calendar with 13 unique months. And the month of the moon spanning February into March, when the days would begin to thaw and the nights would freeze, that is the maple sugaring moon. So it literally organizes not only ceremony, but agriculture, their way of life. It's hard to do that in the classroom. And like I said, I'm not going to take students on a field trip to the Onondaga Nation, where I've been working for the last 20 years. But because of Kate and because of the work of the Office of Sustainability and Rice Creek, I can take them now to the sugar bush. And so it's one thing to talk about collaboration during class, to center Native voices and to talk about how I've been working with Native people for the last 20 years. It's another thing to show them the work of the Office of Sustainability, the work of Rice Creek, the work of the Onondaga Nation. And I have here RWK Robin Wall Kimmerer, because Kate, and I haven't said this to you yet, but when Ramin said to me, "Hey, Robin Kimmerer is going to come to campus," I said, and he said, "What are your ideas?" I gave him a whole list of ideas, among them being, usually the Ori speaker naturally comes in the fall when students are incoming, but what about inviting Robin Wall Kimmerer in the spring and somehow having her event tied to our maple tap? In the book Braiding Sweetgrass, which again I said is the optional reading initiative, there's 2 chapters dedicated to maple tapping. One with her family, her daughters, telling that story of moving to Fabius and tapping the maple trees on her property for the first time, and another more deeper mythological chapter about the origins of maple tapping. So, conservationism and environmental justice play a large role in Native American studies, but my degrees are in religion. So I look for those people on campus, Kristen, Kate, who can help my students understand this larger world that they're a part of and what it means to be a good guest on the ancestral homelands of the Onondaga Nation. Last, and I will try to go quickly here. There's a huge difference in the materiality of the classroom versus the materiality of the sugar bush. It's okay. I I have described my look as a cross between Professor Dumbledore and Hagrid. And like it's all right. It's a chuckle line. It's okay, Kate. You can laugh at that one. And like Max, you've had me as a professor. When I'm in class, I wear the same thing. Not the same. I have an outfit: Doc Martens, jeans, collared shirt, sport coat every day, no matter what. Like that's the outfit of Professor Dumbledore. And when I show up as Hagrid, and what I mean by that is I just show up in like overalls or like a hoodie or like my just like I'm gonna work outside. Like students react very different. They chuckle about it. Like I don't have a garden. Like I don't work outside. Like I wear Doc Martens and jeans and a sport coat every day, everywhere I go. And there's something to be said for working physically alongside students. And there's a lot of schlepping to do. Taking the buckets around, filling the buckets, taking them back, taking them over to facilities, putting them on a crate, putting them in the refrigerator. There's um, manual labor is part of the work. Remember, the work and gratitude that Dr. Kimmerer wrote about. There is work. You will start to sweat, especially if it's a day that's cold, but the sun is out and you've got layers on. You're doing a lot of manual labor. You're going to work up a sweat. And I never do that with students. I never have the opportunity to physically do manual labor alongside. And Kate, I know, is like, you want to do physical labor alongside your students? Like, I got plenty of opportunities for you. There's an endless support, an endless supply. But as Professor Dumbledore, as Professor Chanis, I don't do that work alongside. As the guy who shows up in overalls, ready to do work, it creates a different alignment, a different orientation. I do want to briefly mention this. What I mean here by drills and genders is that some people have been kept away from using drills. Some people have been kept away from, even when it's time to do manual labor, not using the power tools. I have mostly women in my upper division classes, and especially in the class like maybe 70-30 is my normal ratio. And in a class like Native American women, it's more like 90-10 of what my ratio is. And I have had several students write journals to me saying, it's the first time anyone ever told me that I could do this. It's the first time anyone ever handed me a drill and said, you're up. This is your, because they take turns as they rotate around the trees. So it is an opportunity in this work and gratitude to break down potentially some traditional gender norms that our students have been subjected to or experienced throughout their life. finally, I'll just end by saying, I hope that I've illustrated by now that what this is really about for me and for the classroom is a relationship building and cultivating class camaraderie, especially early on in the semester, because we do it early on in the semester. Or as Freire said, pursue the world with the world and each other. I know I can never not talk for the whole duration of the time. I apologize, but Kate and Kristen, please assist me or fill in the blanks where I know fill in my blind spots because I definitely have them.
Michael, I think it's been absolutely wonderful to hear from your perspective the value that working with this project and working together, the value it adds for your students and for your class and their understanding in general and all of our understandings. So thank you very much for that. I don't think you had any blind spots or anything like that, but certainly, if anybody wants to get involved with this program, understand more about it, take some students out there, or has some different ideas, please reach out to us. We'd be delighted to see what we could do together.
Thanks, Kate. Cheers. And I know you said the 5th, but maybe we could do Tuesday or Thursday. We'll talk.
Yeah, let's talk.
Any
The thing
questions?
I wanted to add, Michael, is I think high impact practice is something you could add too, because I think that's exactly what this is as well. So great. I love the presentation and love hearing more about that collaboration.
Okay, well, thank you. We'll have a recording posted within an hour or so.
Cheers. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.